The vast emptiness of space suddenly lit up with a bright flash. A massive ship appeared out of nowhere. This was the human battleship Thunderbolt. It was huge, shiny, and looked very different from the alien ships around it. Captain Jae-sung Kim stood on the bridge of the Thunderbolt. He was a tall man with short black hair and a serious face. His dark blue uniform showed he was in charge. Captain Kim looked out the big window at the front of the ship. He saw many alien ships in the distance. They were near a big blue-green planet. This was where the Galactic Council lived. "Status report," Captain Kim said in a calm voice. A young woman with long hair in a ponytail turned to him. This was Soo-min Park, the communications officer. "Sir, we've arrived at the coordinates. The Galactic Council's capital planet is right in front of us." Captain Kim nodded. He looked at the big screen on the wall. It showed lots of little dots moving around. These were alien ships. They were starting to move in a funny way, like they were confused or scared. "Looks like they've noticed us," said Taiwan Lee, the chief engineer. He was an older man with gray hair and wrinkles around his eyes. "Their ships are all over the place. I don't think they expected us." Captain Kim allowed himself a small smile. "Good. The element of surprise is on our side." Suddenly, red lights started flashing on the screen. Jisoo Kang, the security chief, spoke up. She was a short woman with a strong voice. "Sir, the alien ships are powering up their weapons. They seem ready to attack." Captain Kim didn't look worried. He knew his ship was strong. "Raise shields, but don't power up our weapons. We're not here to fight." The crew followed his orders quickly. A soft hum filled the ship as the shields went up. Meanwhile, on the Galactic Council's planet, there was chaos. Aliens of all shapes and sizes were running around, shouting and waving their arms or tentacles. Some looked like big insects, others like walking plants. They all seemed very scared. In a big round room with lots of seats, important-looking aliens were arguing. This was the Galactic Council chamber. A tall blue alien with 4 arms stood up. This was Chairperson Sylith. "Order. We must have order," Sylith shouted, banging a glowing stick on the floor. The room got a bit quieter. "We have an emergency. A huge unknown ship has appeared near our planet." The room exploded with noise again. Another alien, this one looking like a big red bird, squawked loudly. "It must be the humans. They found us." More shouting followed. "Impossible. We're doomed. What do they want?" Sylith banged the stick again. "Quiet. We don't know what they want yet. We must not panic." Just then, a small green alien ran into the room. It was breathing hard. "Chairperson, the human ship, it's huge. Our scans can't see inside it. And our biggest ships look like toys next to it." The room went very quiet. Everyone looked scared. Back on the Thunderbolt, Captain Kim was still calm. He turned to Soo-min Park. "Officer Park, please open a channel to the Galactic Council. It's time we introduced ourselves." Soo-min nodded and started pressing buttons on her console. "Channel open, sir. You can speak when ready." Captain Kim stood up straight and cleared his throat. He was about to make history. Humans had never spoken to the Galactic Council before. What he said next would be very important. "Attention, Galactic Council. This is Captain Jae-sung Kim of the Earth ship Thunderbolt. We come in peace. We request a meeting with your leaders to discuss humanity's place in the galaxy." His words echoed across space, reaching the panicked aliens on the planet below. The Galactic Council was about to face something they never expected. Humans who were more advanced than them. And Captain Kim knew this was just the beginning of a big change in the galaxy. The Galactic Council chamber was silent. Captain Kim's words still hung in the air. Chairperson Sylith looked around at the other aliens. They all seemed scared and confused. "We must respond," Sylith said finally. "But what do we say?" A small purple alien with big eyes stood up. This was Counselor Yun Ji Choi. She was from a race that liked humans. We should talk to them, she said. They said they come in peace. But before anyone could agree, a large, scaly alien jumped up. This was Counselor Zret. He didn't like new things. No, he shouted. It's a trick. We should attack now, before they attack us. The room got noisy again as everyone started arguing. Back on the Thunderbolt, Captain Kim waited patiently. He looked at Su-Min Park. Any response yet? Su-Min shook her head. No, sir. Wait. I'm getting something now. The voice came through the speakers. It sounded shaky and unsure. Human vessel. This is Chairperson Xylith of the Galactic Council. Why? Why are you here? Captain Kim smiled. He nodded to Su-Min, who pressed a button to send his voice back. Chairperson Xylith, thank you for responding. As I said, we come in peace. Humanity wishes to join the galactic community. We want to talk about working together. There was a long pause. Then Xylith's voice came back. You want to join us. But how did you find us? How did you get here? We've been watching the galaxy for a long time, Captain Kim said. We've learned a lot. Now we're ready to meet our galactic neighbors. In the council chamber, Xylith turned to the others. They say they want to join us. What should we do? Counselor Choi spoke up again. We should meet them. Learn more about them. Counselor Zret hissed angrily. No, it's too dangerous. Look at their ship. They're too powerful. Xylith thought for a moment. Then he made a decision. We will meet them, but carefully. He turned back to the communication device. Captain Kim, we agree to a meeting. But first, tell us about your ship. Why is it so big? On the Thunderbolt, Captain Kim chuckled. The Thunderbolt is one of our smaller ships, Chairperson. It's a diplomatic vessel. This caused another uproar in the council chamber. If this was small, how big were their other ships? Xylith's voice came back, sounding even more nervous. I see. Well, we invite you to send a small team to our station. We'll meet there. Thank you, Chairperson. We accept, Captain Kim said. He turned to his crew. Jisoo Su-Min, you're with me. Ta-Won, you're in charge while we're gone. Jisoo Kang, the security chief, nodded. Yes, sir. I'll prepare our gear. As they got ready to leave, Tai-Won Lee looked worried. Be careful, Captain. We don't know what they might do. Captain Kim put a hand on Tai-Won's shoulder. Don't worry, old friend. Remember, we have a few surprises for them if things go wrong. The three humans took a small shuttle from the Thunderbolt. As they flew towards the alien station, they could see hundreds of alien ships watching them. Some looked like they were ready to attack. They're scared of us, Su-Min said, looking out the window. Jisoo nodded. Fear can make people do stupid things. Stay alert. Their shuttle docked at the station. The doors opened with a hiss. Captain Kim stepped out first, with Su-Min and Jisoo right behind him. They found themselves in a big room. It was full of strange smells and bright lights. And there, waiting for them, was a group of aliens. They all looked very different from each other. The tall, blue, four-armed alien stepped forward. I am Chairperson Xylith. Welcome to the Galactic Council Station. Captain Kim bowed slightly. Thank you, Chairperson. I'm Captain Jae-Sung Kim. This is my communications officer, Su-Min Park, and my security chief, Jisoo Kang. The aliens looked at the humans with a mix of fear and curiosity. One of them, the small purple one, seemed excited. It's amazing to meet you, she said. I'm Counselor Choi. I've always hoped we'd meet humans one day. But the big, scaly alien, Counselor Zret, stayed back. He watched the humans with narrow eyes. Well, said Xylith, now that you're here, what exactly do you want from us? Captain Kim smiled. He was about to change the galaxy forever. What we want, Chairperson, is to talk about Earth joining the Galactic Council. And to do that, We need to tell you some important things about humanity. Things that might surprise you. The meeting room on the Galactic Council station was tense. Captain Kim and his team sat on one side of a big round table. The alien council members sat on the other side. Everyone was quiet, waiting for someone to speak first. Chairperson Xylith cleared his throat. Captain Kim, you said you have important things to tell us about humanity. We're listening. Captain Kim nodded. He pressed a button on a small device he had brought. A big 3D picture appeared above the table. It showed the Milky Way galaxy. This is our galaxy, Kim said. And this. He pointed to a small area. This is where Earth is. The aliens leaned in, looking closely at the map. But that's impossible, Counselor Zret said. That area is empty. We've looked there many times. Kim smiled. Not empty, Counselor. Just hidden. He pressed another button. Suddenly, the map changed. Now it showed hundreds of stars and planets where before there had been nothing. The aliens gasped. Counselor Choi's big eyes got even bigger. How did you hide all that? She asked. We've had cloaking technology for a long time. Kim explained. We hid our whole part of the galaxy while we watched and learned about everyone else. Xylith looked shocked. But why? Why hide from us? We needed to be sure, Kim said. Sure that we could protect ourselves if we had to. Sure that we understood how things work out here. Counselor Zret jumped up, pointing at Kim. This proves they're dangerous. They'd been spying on us. We prefer to call it observing, Sumin said calmly. Xylith held up all four of his hands. Please, let's stay calm. Captain Kim, what else can you tell us? Kim nodded. We've made contact with other races that aren't part of your council. They've become our friends and allies. This caused another uproar. The aliens started talking all at once. Some sounded angry, others scared. Other races. Xylith asked when things got quieter. What other races? The Neurorans, for one, Kim said. You might know them. Tall, furry beings who live near the center of the galaxy. Zret hissed. The Neurorans are savages. They attacked our ships. They attacked because you tried to take their planets, Jisoo said, speaking for the first time. Her voice was firm. We helped them defend themselves. The room got very quiet. The aliens looked at each other nervously. Counselor Choi spoke up. If you've been hiding all this time, why come out now? Why show yourselves? Captain Kim smiled. Because it's time. Time for humanity to take its place in the galaxy. We want to join the council to help make the galaxy a better place for everyone. Xylith nodded slowly. I see. This is a lot to think about. We need time to discuss this among ourselves. Of course, Kim said. We understand. Take all the time you need. The humans left the room. As soon as the door closed behind them, the council erupted into argument. We can't trust them, Zret shouted. They've been lying to us for years. But think of what we could learn from them, Choi said. Their technology is amazing. Xylith tried to keep everyone calm. Please, let's think about this carefully. They're offering to join us, not fight us. That's good, isn't it? Unless it's a trick. Another alien said. What if they're planning to take over? The arguments went on and on. Some council members wanted to welcome the humans. Others wanted to fight them. And some just didn't know what to think. Meanwhile, back on their shuttle, Captain Kim and his team were talking. Do you think they'll accept us, or? Sumin asked. Kim looked thoughtful. I'm not sure. They're scared, but also curious. It could go either way. Jisoo checked her weapons. If they decide to fight, we're ready. Let's hope it doesn't come to that, Kim said. Remember, we're here to make friends, not enemies. As they waited, they could see the alien ships outside. Some were moving closer, others were moving away. It seemed the whole galaxy was holding its breath, waiting to see what would happen next. Inside the council chamber, the debate raged on. The fate of humanity's place in the galaxy hung in the balance, and Captain Kim knew that whatever the council decided, nothing would ever be the same again. While the Galactic Council argued, things were happening outside. Some alien ships were getting too close to the Thunderbolt. They were trying to scan it, to learn its secrets. On the Thunderbolt's bridge, Taiwan Lee noticed this. He frowned and pressed a button to call Captain Kim. "Captain," Taiwan said, "some alien ships are scanning us. Should we do something?" Captain Kim's voice came through clearly. "Let them try, Taiwan. They won't learn anything we don't want them to." Taiwan smiled. He knew the captain was right. The Thunderbolt's shields were special. They didn't just stop attacks. They also stopped scans. In the alien ships, the captains were getting frustrated. One of them, a green, slimy alien named Grook, was especially angry. "Why can't we see inside?" Grook shouted. "Use more power." His crew worked harder, but it didn't help. They couldn't see anything inside the human ship. Back in the council room, the arguments were still going on. Suddenly, a small alien ran in. It looked very worried. "Chairperson Xylith," the alien said, "our ships can't scan the human vessel. It's like it's not even there." This news made everyone stop talking. They all looked at each other, surprised and a little scared. Xylith turned to Captain Kim. "Is this true? Are you blocking our scans?" Kim nodded. "Yes, we are. We call it a privacy shield. It keeps our technology safe." Counselor Zret stood up, looking angry. "Safe from us, you mean? What are you hiding?" "We're not hiding anything dangerous," Kim said calmly. "We just believe in protecting our knowledge." Counselor Choi looked excited. "This is amazing. Your shields must be very advanced." Kim smiled. "They are. But shields aren't the only thing we've developed." He looked at Su-min and nodded. She pressed a button on her wrist computer. Suddenly, all the lights in the room went out. The aliens gasped. Some of them screamed. Then, just as quickly, the lights came back on. But something was different. All the aliens' weapons were gone. Zret jumped up. "What did you do? Where are our weapons?" "Don't worry," Kim said. "They're safe. We just moved them to another room." The aliens couldn't believe it. The humans had taken their weapons without even touching them. Xylith looked both impressed and worried. How? How did you do that?" "It's called a targeted transport beam," Su-min explained. "We can move things without touching them." The council members started talking all at once again. Some sounded scared, others amazed. Kim held up his hand. "Please, don't be afraid. We're not here to hurt anyone. We just wanted to show you what we can do." Jisoo spoke up. "If we wanted to fight, we would have done it already. But we don't want that." The room got quiet. The aliens were starting to understand how powerful the humans really were. Outside, Grook's ship was still trying to scan the Thunderbolt. Grook was getting angrier and angrier. "That's it," he shouted. "If we can't scan them, we'll attack them." His ship started to move towards the Thunderbolt. Its weapons began to glow. On the Thunderbolt, Taiwan saw this. He called Captain Kim again. "Captain, one of the alien ships is powering up its weapons," he said. "What should I do?" Kim thought for a moment. Then he said, "Use the bubble, Taiwan, but be gentle." Taiwan grinned. He loved using the bubble. He pressed a big red button on his control panel. Outside, a strange thing happened. A big clear bubble appeared around Grook's ship. The ship tried to fire its weapons, but nothing happened. The bubble absorbed all the energy. Grook was shocked. His weapons, his engines, nothing worked. His ship was just floating there, stuck in the bubble. In the council room, everyone could see this on a big screen. They watched in amazement as the human ship easily stopped the attack without firing a single shot. Xylith turned to Captain Kim. His forearms were shaking a little. What? What else can your ship do? Kim smiled. A lot more. But I hope we don't have to show you. We'd rather be friends than enemies. The council members looked at each other. They were starting to realize that these humans were far more advanced than they had thought, and they had to decide what to do about it. As the aliens whispered among themselves, Captain Kim and his team waited patiently. They knew that the next few minutes could change the future of the whole galaxy. The council room was very quiet. Everyone was thinking about what they had just seen. The humans were much stronger than they had thought. Chairperson Xylith spoke first. Captain Kim, your ship's abilities are impressive, but they also make us worried. How do we know you won't use them against us? Captain Kim nodded. He understood their fear. I have an idea, he said. Why don't you come to our ship? See for yourselves that we mean no harm. The aliens looked surprised. Counselor Choi's eyes lit up. Really? We can see inside your ship. Of course, Kim said with a smile. We have nothing to hide. But Counselor Zret didn't like this idea. It could be a trap, he said. They might kidnap us. Kim shook his head. We won't force anyone to come. Those who want to stay can stay. And we'll leave all our weapons here to show our good faith. The council members talked among themselves. Finally, Xylith made a decision. Very well, he said. Some of us will go, but not all, and we'll take our own shuttle. Kim agreed. That's fine. Shall we go now? As they got ready to leave, Jisoo came close to Kim. Are you sure about this, Captain? She whispered. Bringing them to the ship is risky. Kim patted her shoulder. Sometimes we need to take risks for peace. Jisoo, it'll be okay. Soon, 2 shuttles left the station. One was the human shuttle. The other carried Xylith, Choi, and a few other brave council members. Zret and some others stayed behind, still not trusting the humans. As they flew towards the Thunderbolt, the aliens gasped. Up close, the human ship was even bigger than they thought. It shone brightly, its smooth surface reflecting the stars. It's beautiful, Choi said, her voice full of wonder. The shuttles entered a large opening in the side of the Thunderbolt. They landed softly in a big bright room. The doors opened, and Captain Kim stepped out. Welcome to the Thunderbolt, he said, smiling. Please come in. The aliens stepped out of their shuttle. They looked around with big eyes. Everything was clean and shiny. Strange machines hummed softly all around them. This way, please, Kim said. He led them through long hallways. The aliens saw humans of all shapes and sizes working together. Some smiled and waved at the visitors. They came to a big room with lots of screens and buttons. This is our bridge, Kim explained. The heart of our ship. Tae-Won was there. He bowed to the aliens. Welcome, he said. I'm Chief Engineer Tae-Won Lee. Xylith looked at all the strange technology. This is amazing, he said, but I don't understand any of it. Kim laughed softly. That's okay. We didn't understand it all at first either. We learned, little by little. Choi was touching everything, excited like a child. Can you show us how something works? She asked. Sure, Kim said. He nodded to Tae-Won. Show them the star map, please. Tae-Won pressed some buttons. Suddenly, the whole room changed. It looked like they were floating in space, surrounded by stars and planets. The aliens were shocked. Xylith tried to touch a star, but his hand went right through it. What is this? He asked. It's a 3D map of the galaxy, Kim explained. We use it to plan our trips. As the aliens looked around in wonder, Kim watched them carefully. He could see their fear turning into curiosity and excitement. Choi turned to Kim, her eyes shining. Captain, this is wonderful. We have so much to learn from you. Even Xylith was starting to smile. I must admit, Captain Kim, I'm impressed. Your people have achieved great things. Kim nodded. Thank you. But we still have a lot to learn too. That's why we want to join the council. To learn from you, and to share what we know. As they talked, Su-min came into the room. She whispered something to Kim. He looked serious for a moment, then nodded. I'm sorry to cut this short, Kim said to the aliens. But we just got some important news. We need to go back to the station. The aliens looked worried. Is something wrong? Syleth asked. Kim shook his head. No, not wrong, but very important. Come, I'll explain on the way back. As they headed back to the shuttles, the aliens were talking excitedly among themselves. They had seen amazing things. Now they were starting to think that maybe, just maybe, these humans could be good friends after all. But what was the important news? And how would it change things? As they flew back to the station, everyone wondered what would happen next. The shuttles flew quickly back to the Galactic Council station. Everyone was quiet, wondering about the important news Captain Kim had mentioned. As soon as they landed, Kim turned to the aliens. Before we go in, there's something you need to know, he said. His face was serious. Syleth looked worried. What is it, Captain? Kim took a deep breath. The Thunderbolt isn't alone. We have more ships nearby. The aliens gasped. Choi's eyes got big. More ships? How many? A lot, Kim said. They're just outside this star system, waiting. The aliens looked at each other, scared. Was this the start of an attack? Kim saw their fear. Don't worry, he said quickly. They're not here to fight. They're here to help if we need it, and to show you that Earth is ready to be part of the galaxy. They all walked into the council room. The other aliens who had stayed behind looked up, surprised to see everyone back so soon. Sret jumped up. What happened? Why are you back? Syleth held up his hands. Calm down, Sret. Captain Kim has news for us. All eyes turned to Kim. He stood tall and looked around the room. Members of the Galactic Council, he began. What you've seen today is just a small part of what humanity can do. The Thunderbolt is amazing, yes, but it's not our biggest or best ship. He pressed a button on his wrist. A big screen on the wall lit up. It showed a picture of space outside the star system. At first, it looked empty. Then, one by one, huge ships appeared. There were hundreds of them. The room erupted in noise. Some aliens shouted in fear. Others just stared, their mouths open in shock. These are the ships of the human fleet, Kim said. His voice was calm but firm. They've been here the whole time, cloaked and waiting. Sret was shaking with anger. I knew it. This is an invasion. But Kim shook his head. No, Counselor. If we wanted to invade, we would have done it long ago. We don't want to fight. We want to join you. Syleth looked confused. But why show us this now? Why scare us? Kim smiled a little. We're not trying to scare you. We're trying to be honest. You needed to know the truth about us before you decide. He looked around the room again. Humanity is strong. We've done amazing things. But we know we're not perfect. We've made mistakes. We've had wars. We've hurt our own planet. The aliens listened closely. This was not what they expected to hear. That's why we want to join the Galactic Council, Kim continued. We have a lot to offer, but we also have a lot to learn. We believe that together we can do great things. The room was quiet for a moment. Then Counselor Choi stood up. I agree, she said. I've seen their ship. I've talked to them. They're not here to hurt us. They're here to help us all grow. Slowly, other council members started to nod. Even Sret looked less angry. Syleth stepped forward. Captain Kim, you've given us a lot to think about. Your honesty is surprising and appreciated. Kim nodded. Thank you, Chairperson. We believe trust is important. That's why we showed you everything. Just then, Su-min came up to Kim. She whispered something in his ear. Kim's eyes got wide. Excuse me, he said to the council. Something important has come up. I need to talk to my crew." He walked to a corner of the room with Su Min and Jisoo. They talked quietly, looking serious. The aliens watched, curious and a little worried. What was happening now? After a few minutes, Kim came back. He looked at Sylith. "Chairperson, I'm sorry, but we have a problem. A big problem. And we need your help." Sylith was surprised. "Our help? What's wrong?" Kim took a deep breath. "We just got a message from Earth. There's a huge asteroid heading towards our planet. If it hits, it could destroy everything." The room got very quiet. Everyone was shocked. "Our ships are fast," Kim said, "but they're too far away. We can't get back in time to stop it. But if we work together, maybe we can save Earth." He looked around the room. "So, what do you say? Will you help us save our home?" The aliens looked at each other. This was a big decision. What would they do? Help the humans and maybe make a powerful friend, or let Earth be destroyed? As everyone waited for an answer, the fate of Earth hung in the balance. The council room was very quiet. Everyone was thinking about what Captain Kim had just said. Earth was in danger, and the humans needed help. Xylith looked around at the other aliens. Some looked scared, others looked unsure. Then, to everyone's surprise, Counselor Zret stood up. "I say we help them," Zret said. His voice was firm. Everyone stared at him. Zret had been against the humans from the start. Now he wanted to help them. But why? Choi asked. She was happy but confused. Zret looked at Captain Kim. "They could have attacked us. They're strong enough. But instead, they asked to join us. Now they need our help. We should give it." Slowly, other council members started to nod. They were beginning to agree. Stylith raised all four of his arms. "All in favor of helping Earth, say yes." "Yes." The word echoed around the room. Almost everyone had said it. Captain Kim smiled. He looked relieved and grateful. "Thank you," he said. "You won't regret this." Xylith turned to Kim. "What do you need us to do?" Kim's face became serious again. "We need ships, fast ones, and we need a way to destroy or move the asteroid." Xylith nodded. "We have some fast ships, and I think I know how we can move the asteroid." He turned to another alien, one that looked like a big tree. "Counselor Grun, your people have gravity beams, right?" Grun's leaves rustled as he nodded. "Yes, we do. They can move big things in space." "Perfect," Kim said. "If we can get there in time, we might be able to push the asteroid away from Earth." Everyone started moving quickly. Aliens ran to get their ships ready. Humans talked on their computers, making plans. In just 1 hour, a big group of ships was ready. There were human ships, fast alien ships, and ships with gravity beams. They all gathered near the Thunderbolt. Captain Kim stood on his ship's bridge. He looked at the screen, which showed all the ships working together. "It's amazing," Su Min said, standing next to him. "Yesterday, they were scared of us. Now they're helping us save Earth." Kim nodded. "That's the power of working together. Now, let's go save our planet." The ships all moved together. They flew very fast, faster than any of them had ever gone before. They were using human technology and alien technology together, and it worked better than anyone had thought. As they flew, aliens and humans talked to each other. They shared stories and ideas. They were becoming friends. Finally, after flying for many hours, they saw it. The asteroid. It was huge, bigger than they had thought, and it was moving straight towards Earth. "There's no time to move it," Todd once said. He looked worried. "We'll have to break it up." Kim nodded. He called the other ships. "Everyone, listen. We need to break this rock into small pieces. Use everything you've got." All the ships moved into place. Human ships fired special rockets. Alien ships used laser beams and gravity waves. The Thunderbolt used its strongest weapons. For a long time, nothing seemed to happen. The asteroid was very strong. But then, slowly, it started to crack. "Keep going," Kim shouted. "We're doing it." Everyone worked harder. Ships darted around, firing and pushing. Smaller rocks started to break off. Then, with a bright flash, the asteroid broke into many pieces. The pieces were small enough to burn up in Earth's air. They wouldn't hurt the planet now. A big cheer went up from all the ships. They had done it. Earth was safe. As they flew back to the council station, everyone was happy. Humans and aliens talked and laughed together. When they got back, Xylith was waiting. He looked at Captain Kim and smiled. "Well done, Captain. You've shown us what we can do when we work together." Kim nodded. "Thank you for your help. We couldn't have done it without you." Xylith held out one of his hands. "I think it's time. Captain Kim, on behalf of the Galactic Council, I invite humanity to join us. Will you accept?" Kim smiled. He shook Xylith's hand. "We accept, and we're honored to join you." Everyone cheered again. It was a new day for the galaxy. Humans were now part of the Galactic Council. There would be a lot to learn and some problems to solve. But together, they knew they could do great things. As Captain Kim looked around at all the happy faces, human and alien, he knew that the future was bright. The galaxy would never be the same again. And that was a good thing.